Hey, Gator Nation, welcome back to Respect Our Decision, Pod of the People, our weekly Q&A show that we do for you guys out there. You send in your questions, and we try to provide some answers to them, a little knowledge, not to mention our community question that we do every week that we have a lot of fun with, and you guys seem to like responding to, man. We got some more great answers this week. We're going to get to those in a minute, but first off, we're going to get to y'all's questions that y'all sent in on Facebook this week. As always, guys, I'm Hirsch, and with me is CJ the Man McCann.
What's up, guys?
Our boy Wes is off this week. He's on vacation. He's out on a cruise. So, guys, as always, I know I'm moving fast here. Maybe I need to slow myself down. If this is your first time checking us out on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and leave a question for next week's episode down below. As we always say, guys, this show is exclusively for our YouTube community. So we appreciate you guys. Keep sending in these questions, man. We'll drop answers as best of our ability. But we're gonna jump right into it, man. We got a couple of questions from last week's YouTube video. I'm gonna ask those first, and then we're gonna go on to the Facebook questions. CJ Lucas sent you a baseball question this week. CJ, when do you expect the next portal piece in the portal for Sully to be announced?
I think soon. I'm not sure who it's going to be. There's been rumors of possibly Mr. Billy Amick from Clemson might be being added by Sully, which would be a massive piece that you could add to play infield. I believe I've heard some places say he would be brought in here as a catcher, and I've heard maybe shortstop or third base, depending on what we do with Mr. Shelton that we just added. So I think it'll be soon. I think especially now that they're back from Omaha, you're going to be able to devote a little more time to that now. Because when you're coaching to try to win a national championship, there's not a lot's on your mind at the time. So I think it's soon. I think Kendall Rogers kind of hinted that things are going to start really picking up soon. TCU has been killing it in the portal. LSU is going to definitely be a team to look out for again. To pick up some more portal pieces. You saw that Mr. Burns from Tennessee entered the portal. I don't think we're really in play for that. I've heard LSU and I've heard TCU. So definitely going to be a lot of movement of guys that just be, all over the place. And I think that the portal in baseball is going to have a bigger impact because you don't have as many players on the field at a time. I think it's going to have a bigger impact than portal with the other sports in basketball and football. So definitely something to keep an eye out on. But I think we'll get some news soon. I don't think we're going to have to wait long.
All right. Mr. M. Bozeman, 1974, asked, Mr. Bozeman, I'm going to have to hurt your feelings on this one. How do you feel about our chances to land David Stone, Colin Simmons, and Jordan Ross? Do we get at least one of these? Mr. Bozeman, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to rip the Band-Aid right off. No, probably not. The first two, I'm going to tell you right now, there's probably 0% chance on either one of them. Colin Simmons looks like he's locked into Texas at the moment. LSU maybe being a close second in that recruitment. And David Stone, if he goes anywhere but Oklahoma right now, I'd be tremendously surprised. Jordan Ross is kind of an enigma right now. He was a guy we were pushing really hard for, but then we got the commitment of Jamalta Waller at edge, and that kind of, it kind of slid your priorities around. Now, I'm not saying if the young man wanted to commit to us, we would not take his commitment, because we absolutely would. I'm just saying there's other positions that have to get filled right now, and those are the ones they're recruiting harder and going after with more, vigor, I guess would be the best way to put it. I'm not going to say that they're not still calling Jordan Ross and saying, hey, we'd love to have you as part of the team, but we got holes we need to fill right now, and that's not necessarily one of them, if that makes sense. But you never know. His mom was blown away on their recruiting visit. She's a teacher. She loved the academic aspect. Maybe this is a young man that just loves what he heard from Florida and his family loves, and he ends up wanting to commit. You never know with these situations. All right, I'm going to jump right into the Facebook questions. We missed the hype man this week. He likes to read these questions off. He runs our Facebook group for the most part. So I'm gonna do the best I can filling in for the hype man on these questions. Jed Keel asks, Jed, thank you for your question. You're always very interactive with us on Twitter and on Facebook. Are there any more big names that could potentially pop from now to December, or are the rest of the commits between now and then going to be names in that 100 to 300 range? CJ, what you think about that?
Oh, there's a lot of kids that I think that you've laid out like such a broad scope of like months, and I've been saying for a while now. There's a lot of kids that we're in contention for that I see playing this out till December, because they are such high profile kids. They want to go watch games, they want to visit schools on game days, and they want to experience that. So yeah, definitely, I think that you're gonna see that just get kind of spread out. Plus, too, we've done such a good job at really filling the class pretty fast, that now it's kind of like, okay, we've got everything backloaded. Now we can start to individualize some of these recruits and really get into the nitty gritty stuff to try to get some of these really big names that are definitely going to wait this out and push their commitment as far as they can. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know of any specific names right now as far as like really, really big kids that we could get. Odom is on there. He released his commitment date today. And I think we're looking at him as more of not so much of a tight end, but like a big bodied wide receiver. I think that right now, though, Alabama kind of leads for that, from what I understand. But again, a lot of things could happen. We'll see. So that's the one that jumps off the page to me in my mind. But I think a lot of the kids, you are right. I think a lot of the kids you're going to see now, with aside from maybe three or four different kids, are probably going to be the 100 to 300 range kids. Which, if they're offensive linemen, I would love that. I don't. Yeah, and we get.
Absolutely.
If they're in the 100 to 300 range and they're offensive linemen, please, I would definitely
Yes,
take
thank
that.
you.
Like
Please.
like Fletcher Westfall is committing July the 10th. Right now, it seems to be a battle between Florida, Clemson, Arkansas. A lot of people I think are kind of leaning towards Clemson with him. I'm not really sure, but we're definitely in it. So you got a few days to make up. Let's see what we do here. Staff has surprised me before, so I mean,
Yep.
hopefully
This
they
is the
do it
press
again.
time. You know what? You've got the date. Now it's time to close, and
Right.
that's all that is. All right.
ABC.
Yes, always be closing every time. All right, Bo Davis asked a question. Bo, I'll cover this. Are there any 25 top or 2025 QBs on the radar for us? Bo, if you happen to, you could go listen to our newest episode that'll already be out by the time you see this. We actually ran over 3 on that episode, but I'll go ahead and talk about them again real quick. One is Carter Smith. Carter Smith is from South Florida. He's a quarterback to be watching going forward. Another is Ryan Montgomery, who's a quarterback out of Ohio. Ohio has already taken a quarterback for 2025. So this is a kid that Florida has made a lot of progress with. He's a top 200 quarterback. He's got a great relationship with Coach O'Hara, so that's someone to be on the lookout for. And another name we mentioned is Achilles Smith Jr., who the Gators have apparently made a really good impression on. Depending on who you ask, we're in his top 3 of obviously Oregon's in there, given that, like CJ said in our other episode, his dad played at Oregon. But maybe Oregon goes in a different direction. Maybe Achilles Smith's not the quarterback they want. So, that's something to keep an eye on. If Oregon goes in another direction, Gators move up real quick. And, but once again, quarterback out of California, you've got some, some buyer's remorse there in the past, but you can't quit recruiting the state. You have to. Like CJ also said in our last episode, great quarterbacks come out of California. So you can't just say, no, I'd rather not do that. You've got to go where the good quarterbacks are. So those are 3 to look after. I'm sure that board will expand as we go forward. I'm sure there's kids that nobody knows they're talking to right now. So, all right. Let me see here. Marshall DePriest, question. We are all waiting on Coach Raymond to land a few guys besides Bam Mincy. Who do you think realistically we land at DB? CJ?
Teddy Foster is the name that's pretty hot right now. The Florida has seemingly made a lot of great strides with Wardell Mack. I feel like he's a guy that they could definitely convince to take, especially with as full as LSU's class is on the DB side of things. Jameer Grimsley is a guy that Corey Raymond likes a lot, and he made a lot of strides with him over the last couple of weeks. So definitely one of the top on the board. I think, again, though, you look at the board, I would think that Zay Mincy is number one, and I would put Jameer Grimsley at number two as far as the DBs they want. And then I'd probably say that Teddy Foster will be the most likely one to commit next. A lot of hype behind him. So I could definitely see him being the next guy to commit to us. But I would still keep an eye out for Wardell Mack to see what he's going to do. Justin Denson seems like that's all but cooled off. I think he's crystal balled to Oklahoma. He really liked his visit there. I think some people have even brought up Michigan State, but those are the two teams that seem like that. We've pretty well cooled on him, but Teddy Foster and him have similar measurables and stats, so it feels like Raymond would rather go with Teddy Foster closer to home. I think he likes him a little more. So, and I think Teddy Foster's got a little more room to grow. So definitely the next one I think will be him, but don't count out Matt Grimsley or Zay Mincy.
Absolutely. I agree 100% on all those names. He's got the guys he's after. I know Wardell Mack is already talking about making another visit here, like in August. I think Wardell Mack is kind of a backup plan if we miss on a couple of other guys. And I know that's crazy to say that one of the top DBs in the country is a backup plan, but the funny thing about him is that he's also seems to be a backup plan for LSU, which is the home state. So, because they haven't necessarily pressed for the young man either. So, all right, Justin Wood has sent us his usual list of questions. Justin, we appreciate you so much for all the questions you send in every week, man. You always put a lot of thought into your questions, and we love it. First question, how do you think our wide receiver room shakes out? Do you think we flip Robinson from Miami and that's it? Right now, yeah, I actually do kind of think that is the most likely scenario, is flipping Chance Robinson and calling it a day. Obviously, they're going to they're going to recruit Jeremiah Smith until the ink is dry on his letter of intent, wherever it gets sent to. They will not stop recruiting that young man, period. Abrams from Florida State, I kind of feel like that ship sailed with the commitment of Jerry Hawkins. I don't think that's a guy that they're going to really push for. I know Mario Craver's in the same basket. His spot sailed. So I really think right now it's all your chips in on Chance Robinson. Now, don't get me wrong, they're going to probably still recruit a guy like TJ Moore. I absolutely guarantee that they'll still be making contact with that young man until he signs as well. And, then there could be a name that pops up that you don't even think about, like Bussey from Texas. Even though it looks like he may end up at Texas A&M, I know he plays 7-on-7 ball with DJ, and DJ's in his ear. So, maybe they feel like, oh, well, Chance isn't going to happen. We gave it our best shot, but Miami did whatever they needed to do to keep him in the fold. We've got to shift our board, and they've been really good at doing that. I'm sure they're talking to a lot of kids out there, so we'll see how that shakes out. Your next question was about QB targets for 2025, and your question was, Justin, you got to get out of our head, brother. Who do you think the top target is in 2025? Is it Carter Smith, Ryan Montgomery, or Achilles Smith Jr.?
Yes.
Justin, I'm going to be very honest. The guy I'm hearing the most about right now is Ryan Montgomery from Ohio. Like, it really seems like the kid likes Florida and we like him. Does that mean anything? No, because Ohio State hasn't really pushed for that kid yet since they already have one. But the word is they're taking two. So
per year.
Ohio kid, if Ohio State presses, do they get him? Does Michigan enter? And maybe, just have to see how it shakes out. There's a lot of time to go on that, and those guys are gonna, you're gonna hear so many quarterback names probably before we get one. It'll be crazy. All right. Who do you guys think we land at the barbecue? A 2025 commit or a 2024 commit? CJ?
I don't know. I have to, again, the barbecue is still a month away. We don't really have a sure list of who's going to be there. A lot of the kids that we do know are going to be at the barbecue are already committed. So, you're not looking for them to commit. That's tough. I don't know. You're gonna have to get back with me in a couple weeks. Let me get the list kind of flushed out. Let some things rumble a little bit for a minute. Like I said, we just jumped off of, and that's what's so difficult right now. We just jumped off a list where it was like, okay, well, 7 of your talking points of guys that you think might commit, well, they all committed now. So you don't have any of those guys anymore, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's like it kind of made the job hard because those were guys that we were like, okay, this guy can commit. He can commit. Maybe he's going to wait a month. And they all just said, no, we're jumping in now. So let's give it a second. So now they secured all these guys, and it feels like we're going to have to see, okay, well, who's coming to the barbecue? I would love to see Jameer Grimsley commit at the barbecue. I think that's possible. Or maybe Mincy or LJ McCray, one of those guys, because I feel like all the players that know LJ McCray are pretty well set on him committing pretty soon. So that would be really cool to get him in the fray. We're obviously fighting Miami for him and Florida State for him. So who knows what's going to happen with that. But, that's one name that comes to mind. Some of the local kids for sure.
Yeah. To kind of add some context. Good Lord. I saw something this week. Somebody had put kind of a statistical analysis together about all the commitments that have already taken place and the number of like top 250 kids that have committed at this point. And it's the highest that it's ever been with top 250 kids committed. So the board, and I mean, we saw this last weekend. I mean, if you follow Hayes Fawcett on social media, that man was sending out edits left and right. There was just an absolute barrage of commitments from all over the country. So these kids are, the board shrinks by the day without a shadow of a doubt. Now, that doesn't mean we can't flip somebody. Absolutely. That's always in play. But that's going to be something you find out, like if a flip candidate's coming to the barbecue, we're not going to find that out till maybe they're on campus.
Right.
Like, the staff is real good about keeping those guys secret. Next question was, how do you think our DB board shakes out? We kind of just already answered that one, Justin. So that takes us to your last question. What names do you think round out the recruiting class? If y'all could have your pick of the recruits that we round out our class with. I'll kind of start this one off, Justin. Mincy and McCray are at the top. You want those 2 kids from Mainland. You want the Florida kids. You want to keep them home. I'm missing an obvious one here, and I was just thinking about it. But Westfall would be one for me. I would absolutely love to add Fletcher Westfall to this class just to have a high-tiered offensive lineman. But, and Chance Robinson definitely would be a kid I would like in the wide receiver room. He comes from, St. Thomas. So that's a great school. And I'm going to give you one flip candidate that I'd like to add to that, and that's Mr. Lyle, the running back from St. Thomas as well. I wouldn't mind being able to flip that young man to the running back room, now that we have the spot. But, we'll see what happens. He's currently committed to Ohio State, but, hey, Mark Fletcher was committed to Ohio State this time last year, and that kind of shook out too. So we'll see. CJ, who are some names you'd like to see added to this class?
For sure, Mincy and McCray, those are like the 1 and 2 right now, the guys that you really want. I would love to have Jameer Grimsley. I feel like if you got him and Mincy,
Grimsley was the one I couldn't remember.
Yeah, did you really rounded out your DB class to add to the great DB class that you got last year? Fletcher Westfall, of course. big time offensive lineman. You get a guy like that would really help boost the offensive line recruiting this year. The guy's a massive human being. Definitely would help us out in that offensive tackle spot. Chance Robinson would be great. Not, and it's got nothing to do with like my own personal, wanting to poke fun at Miami. He's a great player. Miami, if they get him, they're getting a great player. I'd like to have him. I think that he could do a lot of great stuff here, especially with the other wide receivers in the room that we have. He kind of fills a different position, a different spot, so that would be great to get him. So those are some of the names that I'm looking at of guys that I would definitely like to have. So and why not, just for the hell of it, because Wes would want me to say it. How about Jordan Ross? Throw him in there. Let's see if we can make it happen. Because you want to talk about a recruiting highs. You got Wes with 2 rush ends. He texted us. He's like, there's both sides to a defensive line. There's 2 ends to it. So we can put him on the other side. But yeah, that would be great. And of course, Jeremiah Smith is always the guy that you would love to have. That would make the class on paper one of the best we've had in 10 years. So definitely there's a lot of names still out there left to add, some likely, some not so much. But
another name I'll throw out there to keep an eye on, and this guy might make his way into the class even if we were to add Fletcher Westphal, and that's Ori Williams out of Texas. He's a big-time offensive tackle that took an official visit here a couple of weeks ago, and really enjoyed his visit by all accounts. And I think that we could take upwards of 5 offensive linemen in this class.
Sure.
It would not be surprised. So that's a name as well to keep an eye on. Obviously, he's currently ranked a 3-star, but he's another one of those kids that's like 6'7", 300 pounds, right in that same mold that the 2 offensive line coaches like to shoot for on the outside. So those are some names. I mean, you'd love to land all of them. We're not. You know how recruiting works. Somebody will pull a surprise, and maybe we pull a surprise. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time under Coach Napier, obviously, that we have done that. As you know, these guys are hitting up even the recruited commitments all the time, even if they're on another team, trying to make things happen. So, all right, guys, it is time for the community question of the week. And, just like last week we did, your favorite all-time football movie. Well, in honor of the baseball season coming to an end, our question this week was, what is the best baseball movie of all time? CJ, you got the Facebook answers?
Yeah, I've got them today because we don't have Wes here, so I've got to do the duty.
All right, hit us with some of the. I got the Twitter ones. You get the.
Okay, Mr. Saw a lot of the same answers. Of course, there's a lot of baseball movies people left out that I'm kind of surprised didn't make it. Like a League of Their Own never got brought up, which was kind of surprising to me. Kyle Coe said The Sandlot. Dylan Bird said Major League. Nor Williams said The Bad News Bears. Brian Baker says Major League. Charlie Sapp says The Pride of the Yankees. Let's see. Chris Sorley says Angels in the Outfield.
Oh my God.
Stephen Pravat says The Sandlot and Major League. Justin Wood says The Field of Dreams, which is a great movie. Mike Newman says Sandlot. Mr. Lau Browning, new member, says Bull Durham. Jeff Beer says Bull Durham. Tom Noble says he goes on to list a whole bunch: Field of Dreams, Pride of the Yankees. Major League was his personal favorite. The Natural, didn't see that one a lot. I love The Natural.
Yes, great movie.
Then Terry Biden says 42, the Jackie Robinson movie, great movie. Chadwick Boseman does a great job. Harrison Ford, love that movie. Patrick Guerin says Major League. Dustin Kruger says Summer Catch is one of his favorites.
Oh, Lord.
Michael Plant says Sandlot, 40, 42, Field of Dreams, in that order. And Mr. Dennis Connaughton, I think I was pronouncing that. I hope I'm pronouncing. I'm sorry, Dennis, if I did not. He says The Bad News Bears. And that's what we got from the Facebook group this week.
All right. From the Twitter, first off, Christopher Zen. Chris said Bull Durham, and it's not close. Chris, it's hard to argue with that. I mean, Bull Durham is a perfect baseball movie. Lucas the Gator Man says Moneyball is his favorite. Moneyball, great movie, true story. Great job by Brad Pitt. in that movie, being Mr. Billy Bean.
Billy Bean.
Saul says Sandlot or Angels in the outfield. Sauce, you can't ever just give us one answer, man. I mean, what's going on?
Too many good ones.
Gator Lyle says Bad News Bears, the original. Dustin Ladler says Major League 2.
It's a second Major League. Not the first one. He likes the second one.
Says Dustin might be the only person ever that says Major League 2.
That movie was rough, man. I'm sorry. that was not as good as Major League.
Yeah, when they replaced our boy in that, when they Wesley Snipes, I was done with Major League 2. The Cruise Show says it's Sandlot. TC says either Major League or Bull Durham. Andre Winfield says Moneyball. Richard Denise says he posted a GIF of Wild Thing knocking the head off the pitching dummy or the batting dummy. So that's Major League. JC says the original Bad News Bears and Field of Dreams. Tommy Boy says, I love them all growing up on baseball, but Field of Dreams for that father-son moment, and James Earl Jones was so good in that movie. Yes, he was. James Earl Jones was great in that movie. Lane Tyndall says Bull Durham. Tommy Carl says Long Gone. John Miles says Major League. And Kwame County Miami fan says The Natural, which is a great movie. We said it ourselves. Man, nobody said Trouble with the Curve.
Nobody said For the Love of the Game.
For the love of the game, it's funny. I'll go first with this one. Major League is my all-time favorite just because I remember watching that one as a kid when it came out, and it was just so awesome. For Love of the Game is my guilty pleasure baseball movie. I don't know what it is about that.
I'm right there with you. A lot of people hate that movie,
it's very sappy.
Yes.
Just all the emotions that go on in that movie. And Kevin Costner in baseball movies is just
John C. Reilly is his catcher. I mean,
John C. Reilly is his catcher, and doesn't necessarily play goofy John C. Reilly that you know from Step Brothers or anything like that. He's kind of serious.
There's a scene. Sorry to cut you off. There's a scene where they take the dummy or the stunt guy to play the catcher when he throws a pitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hilarious because it's John C. Reilly. And he goes and he puts this mask on. And he's going to be the catcher. And then they show the catcher, and it's the stunt guy, throws the ball to him, and it's an Asian. It's an Asian guy that's playing the catcher. And I'm like
not the best editing moment of all time.
We couldn't have done better than this. We couldn't have got anybody closer. Y'all just pick somebody from a complete other nationality. They won't know. They won't know. But I swear, go back and watch it and you'll see it. And I've never been able to look at it the same since. I love that movie. It is definitely my guilty pleasure baseball movie. But, oh, my God, that was hilarious the first time I saw that.
What's your favorite of all time?
My favorite baseball movie of all time is The Rookie. Not Rookie of the Year, The Rookie. I love that movie.
That's a great story. True story.
Just the stuff with his dad, the young stuff of him going to a different town, a town that didn't have baseball. Then going to play for the Rays. Just a lot of great stuff in that movie. I love it. Trouble with the Curve is up there. And then, like I said, I love For the Love of the Game. I could watch that one. A lot of people hated that movie. But no, definitely The Rookie. The Rookie was my favorite. I love that movie. But like I said, I'm surprised nobody said A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball.
Nobody wants to watch A League of Their Own. No, I'm just kidding. There's actually there's another baseball movie coming out soon called 12, I believe it was, or something like that. There's a couple of different new baseball movies coming out that look really good. Yeah, like I said, Major League will always be my favorite. If I started watching a little sooner, maybe Bull Durham. It was right there.
And nobody said The Scout either, which I love. The Scout with Brendan Fraser playing Steve Nebraska, who could throw a 120-mile-an-hour fastball.
The first baseball movie I ever remember watching as a kid was The Natural, and that one always sticks with me because as a kid, he hits the ball and the lights blow up and everything, and it's just like, oh wow, it just it romanticizes baseball in such a way that Major League just was like, you guys all suck, but they win, terrible. So it's the feel good story.
Go and get him.
Yeah, you can go get it. I posted that. I think I was about to post that on Jack in the second inning. after
Now
he
you
hit
can go get him.
the leadoff guy again for the second time. I was like, okay, Jack. Oh man. Hey, there are no wrong answers though, guys. Like we've always said, man, whatever sticks with you and is special to you, that's what makes it your favorite. And there are no wrong answers when it comes to the community question. Major League 2 could be close to a wrong answer, but hey, we're gonna let you have that one. If you like it, you like it.
Thankfully, nobody said The Babe with John Goodman playing
God.
Babe Ruth. That was rough.
I had forgot that movie even existed. Or what was Mr. 3000?
Oh,
What's the one where Tom Selleck goes to Japan?
Oh yeah. Okay. I know which one you're talking about.
I can't remember that one, but Mr. 3000, that was Bernie Mac. That was actually pretty good. The one where Tom Selleck goes to Japan. Here, I got it right here. What is it called? Mr. Baseball.
Mr. Baseball. God. Yes. Okay.
Sheesh. There was some rough baseball comedies out there for a while. All right, guys, we appreciate you so much, as always, for sending in all your questions and your responses to the community question, man. Like we always say, this is our fun episode. We love doing it. We love getting our laughs off, talking about different answers and rehashing old moments like baseball movies we loved growing up. It makes this show so much fun. Like we said, guys, if this is your first time checking us out, you like what you see, go ahead, please drop a subscribe on the channel. It helps us a tremendous amount. We appreciate you. Leave a like on the video and go ahead and drop a comment or a question for next week's episode down below. And until then, guys, we just want to say thank you as always for everything, for all your, your contributions and just watching the episode. And it's Go Gators, guys.
Go Gators, guys.
We'll catch you next week. All right.